Let me know, please let me know once you're able to see my screen. Can you see my screen now? Oh, hello. Am I audible?
See, I'm adding your
Okay.
screen.
So,
Add in the later.
mhm. Sorry. You're saying something? Yes, Mr. Rabi, you're saying something.
Yeah.
Okay, shall I start or like you want me to wait for some time?
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल
All right. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Good evening. Good afternoon. Wherever
बिल्कुल
you.
फ्लोर इज ऑल
I'm sorry. Hello. Right. So, okay. All right. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are located. So, on behalf of Pakistan User Group, I would like to welcome you to this session where we're all gathered to learn and share under the umbrella of this exciting community to make the most of our experiences. So, the topic that I'll be covering today is Microsoft Dataverse batch processing via bulk API, and the agenda is to give you an introduction about what is data migration. We'll talk about what are the real world challenges that we face. What is Microsoft Dataverse batch processing, and then I'll also discuss one real-time scenario that I believe it could be one possible application of this feature. We'll also have a look at some of the advantages and limitations which we should keep in mind before proposing this as one possible best fit solution. I've also prepared a demo to show you the preliminary steps how to create a, a basic utility, what are the fundamental design constraints, and how to consume and perform bulk operations. And at the end, yes, we'll have a question and answer sessions. Talking about myself, so yeah, this is Khawar Khan. I am working as a solution architect, Microsoft Power Platform Dynamics 365 at Guru Group. I am located in Karachi, Pakistan. I have overall 15 years of hands-on experience, 10 years hands-on experience on Microsoft Power Platform, Microsoft Dynamics 365 customer engagement, and Dynamics CRM. I worked in multiple industries, financial services, healthcare, to name a few. I'm also certified on Microsoft Power Platform, Dynamics 365 customer engagement, Dynamics CRM, and .NET. So yeah, during my free time, I like music and sports. So right, so without further ado, let's get started. Right, so the brief introduction about data migration. Well, I know that we are aware what data migration is, but then yes, just to set the context, I have added this slide. So the data migration is the process of selecting, preparing, extracting, and transferring data from one system to another. Not only that, we also do the analysis like, what is the source system, what is the destination system, if talking about the source system, whether it's a database, and if it's a database, is it Oracle, SQL Server, Sybase, if it's talking about the destination, whether it's a Dataverse, Microsoft Dataverse, or is it Azure SQL database, or it could be on-premise. So yeah, and the list goes on. So sitting between in these two systems is the mechanism which we develop using some of the renowned utilities out there in the market, which could be SSIS, SQL Server Integration Services. It could be either Microsoft Azure Data Factory, Scribe. So yeah, not only that, data validation for completeness. It's something which is more inclined towards technical, from more inclined towards the technical audience. So the data validation for completeness means it's all the required fields must be there, it must be tagged in properly, the field level validations, the I should say the quality of the data to an extent. So we can think of in this way. And then decommissioning of legacy system, meaning I would like to get rid of the older system which is currently in place, and I would like to replace it altogether with a new system, which in this case could be Microsoft Dataverse, is part of the data migration process. Typically, well, data migration in most of the cases is performed or developed in an automated way as much as we can. The objective is to free up human resources from the tedious task, like, I have to place a file over there, I have to extract the data, I will email you, this is the source shared location, it's not accessible, or things like that. So from the high level, that's what data migration is, and that's why we do data migration to an extent. Moving on to the next slide. Right. So here are some of the stingy questions that we come across day in, day out while involved, as part of the data migration activity. What if one of the question is, well, I do have the liberty if I have the required licenses, meaning if the client is willing, is has purchased an SSIS or SQL Server Integration Services license, or Azure SQL data, Azure Data Factory, or Microsoft Azure Data Factory related licenses. So in that case, I do have the liberty where I can go and use these renowned tools to facilitate myself and to come up with a solution by consuming least amount of time, which will be more efficient also, because they are well renowned, and they have a purpose to fulfill. Now, but there are cases where I, as a client, I cannot, or I'm not willing to purchase those licenses because I don't want to incur any additional costs. So that's a very interesting scenario where we don't have the required tools courtesy of licenses, but at the same time we have to go and satisfy the business requirements. Now, how we can go and fulfill, or what best we can do to achieve or to hit the milestone, to hit the milestone. There is another scenario in something similar to this which I faced during my professional career. Is one of my client, he asked me to upload a list of prospects which he provided me in the form of an Excel file, and the idea is to, once the data has been uploaded to Dataverse, then it will be propagated or transferred all the way to marketing tool, so that they can run email campaigns as per the requirement. Similarly, one of the asks that I came across was to perform data cleansing. By data cleansing, I mean to say the data cleanup or tagging the data in a way so that it can be segmented on logical grounds, so that the marketing team, again, they can go and run targeted email campaigns. What if the client has not provided us direct access to their source system? In most of the cases we do have, but then there are scenarios like, if we talk about financial services, over there, yes, most of the time, in fact, it's almost everywhere where we don't have the access to the source system. So in that case, the ultimate deliverable which we receive in the form of in the form of in the form of source, is the Excel file in itself, which we already discussed, at the top. So, and last but not the least, the one of the biggest challenges to satisfy the client in terms of whatever we are providing will definitely, satisfy the client in terms of the performance. So when performance is a top priority, we also, we have to be very careful, and we should come up with a neat and clean solution. Moving on to the next slide. Right. So this is where, per my experience, Microsoft Dataverse batch processing via bulk API comes into play. So what is the question is, what is Microsoft Dataverse batch processing? So as part of Dataverse, Microsoft has introduced there's something called execute multiple requests as a message to support higher throughput bulk message where internet latency can be the largest limiting factor. So if so in this modern era, we know that all the system they're mostly cloud based. So if the internet latency is one of the concerns, then yes, we can always go and opt in for batch processing. Similarly, one of the area that which batch processing covers is the transactional manner. Well, if we go with the orthodox approach, even if anyone of us who has the experience or got a chance to work on Dynamics CRM on premises back for 5 6 years back, then at that time, yeah, whenever we are migrating the data, it's we write the code in a way to push every record one at a time. So if we are talking about 500 records, it's 500 times we are consuming the API of Dataverse or Dynamics CRM at that time. But now, since we have execute multiple requests at our disposal, all we have to do is to prepare and club all our requests in a as a single execute multiple requests that will allow us to transfer the data in a single go as a transaction. So it's either all or it's none. And also one of the area which this execute multiple request covers or offers is the resubmission. What does that mean? So when, say for example, if there is a certain batch size which we cannot exceed by default. So if for any reason we exceed, or our code or our utility exceeds that batch size, so we always have a chance to go and revisit and fix that and resubmit our request so it can be processed as per the requirement. Doing also above 3 points definitely involves a smaller number of API calls, meaning since which we have already discussed that yeah, if we go with the orthodox approach, then it's one record, one call. But ever since this execute multiple requests comes into play or it's been originated, so yeah, it definitely involves smaller number of API calls. Well, last but not the least, at the end, we'll have a deliverable which will be more efficient in terms of performance, the maintenance, and the overall design. All right. At this point, I would like to share one of the real-time scenario which I encountered in my professional experience. So I was working for one of the client who had one legacy system developed on top of SharePoint, and the idea it was the objective of the application was to maintain project management, change control related documents. So yeah, so they would like to get rid of that system and would like to replace that all the way all together with the Microsoft Dataverse, with Canvas app developed on top of Microsoft Dataverse. So there was a definite requirement of transporting their existing legacy record all the way from source SharePoint environment to destination Microsoft Dataverse environment, and the record base was around 75,000 K, and the time frame which they gave us was around 2.5 weeks. So it was a challenging kind of a situation. So the most interesting part was we asked that, okay, what if we go and develop a solution using SQL Server integration services? If that's possible, it could be Azure SQL, Azure Data Factory. But then they said that we don't have enough license. We are not willing to. We cannot provide you those licenses. So it should be then it was on us to come up with a solution. Right. So after spending some time, we found an approach, and this is where we opted for Microsoft Dataverse batch processing feature. So what we did was, on one side there was a SharePoint environment, and we exported the record by creating a legacy or the conventional Microsoft.NET Windows based application. And yeah, so the first thing that what it did was it exported the record from SharePoint in the form of an XML. So by consuming the SharePoint client object model, So whoever got a chance to work with SharePoint client object model, we are aware that whenever we request for a record, we always receive an XML file. So that the other challenge was that we also agreed with the client that okay, once the data has been exported, we'll hand it over to them so that they can review it and give us the sign off. So once so that once we have the sign off, we'll then import that data to the destination Microsoft Dataverse environment. Right. So in order to do that, we again developed a mechanism to convert that XML file or XML data, raw XML data, into a CSV, and then we stored it to a secure location, which was then, and in this case it'll be hard drive. So once we have exported the data, all the data, we then gave it to the business for their review and sign off. Once we received the sign off, we then started working on the import leg, which is on the right hand side. So first step was it's bottom up in this case. So first thing which we did was the mechanism started to read the data, those exported CSV file first. Then it created the batches, and then it started to import those CSV batches into the destination Microsoft Dataverse environment. So it kind of a complex kind of a thingy. It was all manual. I mean, it was all code based. There was no tool. So yeah, but somehow we were able to achieve the goal in quite in comprehensively by consuming reasonable amount of time. So yeah, okay. Let's have a look at some of the advantages and limitations. Right, so advantages, yeah. So we'll have a reduced network traffic and latency if we are using batch processing feature. The code will be more efficient, and definitely it will be the ultimate the one of the key advantage in my opinion is the reduced number of API calls, which every now and here and there all the published article in all the published articles by Microsoft is the pressing area where which we should always keep in our mind. In terms of limitations, yeah, so there is no recursions are allowed, which means you cannot invoke execute multiple requests in within another execute multiple requests. Second thing is the maximum batch size. A typical batch size for a Dataverse is 1000, but then that is something we can always go and increase. So that is something also we can always go and do some adjustments. And as we discussed earlier, it also allows us to resubmit our this feature to also allows us to resubmit our input collection in case if we exceed that request. So there is no point. So there are very few chances or zero occurrences we can think of. If there is in case of failure, we don't have to restart the process. We can always continue where we face this issue. For more information, we can always go and refer to service protection API limits. So if you search for this bold part, service protection API limits, you will see an article published by Microsoft, and it'll give you more insight that what are other possible limitations or considerations that we should keep in our mind. With that being said, it's show time. It's a demo. Okay, I'll share. I'm going to share. Okay, so the first thing first that I'm going to share with you is the utility which we created specifically for our client. So that's the conventional C# based Windows application. As you can see, on one hand we have SharePoint, on the other hand we have Microsoft Dataverse. At the top, we are asking for the credentials and other details for the SharePoint, and on the bottom we have the panel. So if you look at it down here, we have categorized these panels into two parts. First one is the data. This is all form related data. So the first thing, and then the next aspect is the attachment. So at that time, the requirement was to export the data, but then later on we identified that okay, it's not just the data, it's the attachment also. So creating the relationship, exporting those attachments, creating a relationship between the attachment and the record itself, and then to export also is something which we took care of. So that's how the overall form look like. Talking about the Dataverse part of this utility, again, it's more or less the same. At the top, we are asking for Dataverse related configuration, and at the bottom, again, it's the data and the related attachments. If I give you a, if I show you the code briefly, if I go back and say view, oops, view code. Yep. So that's, well, it's a long piece of code, long list of code. There's a method and everything. Though, if I just open one piece of code, which is this one, say for example, if I go to the definition of the source code, so as we can see, it's all manual. You don't, it's all code based. By manual, I meant to say. So the first thing first, yeah, we're reading the CSV file, and then after reading the CSV file, it's all about creating the batches. Yeah, establish the connection. Then we created the batch, and then we are looping through the batch collection, and then yeah, we started to push the record down to the destination Dataverse environment. So it's a bit tedious, but then yes, that's how it is. All right. Now to give you a brief walkthrough how it works, I've prepared another one simple application to just to give an idea how we can go and set up a basic utility. So the first thing first, I've created a C sharp based Windows application. I've just set up the basic credential related part over here, and I've just surfaced another, the area where we can, from where we can go and upload the file and just perform the import operation in a nutshell. Right. The other, after creating this application, the second step which I did was I added two NuGet packages. So I simply right clicked on it and I clicked on manage NuGet packages, and then under browse tab, simply I search for two packages. First one is, if I say XRM tooling, here we go. This is the one which I've added. I'll tell you the reason why later. And then the second piece which I added was CSV helper, so that we can speed up the process of manipulating or reading the source CSV file in the form of an object, and then we can later on we can push it uh, to the destination environment. So these are the two references which I've added, or packages from NuGet. Once we have everything in place, the next step is that I simply click on the import button. Again, over here we are reading the CSV file, or from this location, what all we have selected over here. Once we have read the file, we have started to push the record into this CSV object or the model, which looks something similar to this. Uh, if I open this for just for a quick reference, so that's one of the C sharp, simple C sharp class which we are using, which we'll be using later on. So after reading all the records and pushing it to this list, what we have done is we over here we are just preparing the connection string, and then we are setting the max connection timeout 1 hour, say for example. We can do that. And then the next piece is that we are creating a CRM service client. Now, as per the latest practices, or I think it's about almost close to a 6 to 10 months, where Microsoft announced that they have deprecated the direct creation of organization service in such scenarios, the one which we are looking at. So what's the other alternate? The other alternate, what Microsoft says, that we should go and start using XRM tooling connector, this piece, as a reference, and then start instantiating the reference of CRM service client. Once we have this, it will allow us to go and pick the organization service proxy, which is what we are doing over in here. So that is one thing. So this is one piece. And the other thing is, the other enhancement that we can think of is, right now, since it's the demo, so that's why I'm just doing it in this way. But then also we can enhance it in a way so that we can, so the moment user clicks on connect, say for example, you can, and if you would like to have an experience something similar to what we have in case of plugin registration tool, or at the time when we are creating or setting up a connection in XRM toolbox, that is something also which is possible. But that definitely requires more code and everything. But just to keep it simple, I'm doing it in this way. You can also go and do it the way I just now have just mentioned. So once we have the CRM service client instantiated, the next thing we are checking, is it null or is it ready. If it is not ready, or for some reason you will receive a false over in here. And then once you have the organization service proxy, boom, we are good. The next piece which we are doing is we are creating the upload batches. So I've just, for the to facilitate myself, I've created a simple class which is just creating the batches, and this is what the batch number is. I'm creating a batches of 5 records per each batch. So for example, if you have around 50 records, say for example, you can think of as if we are talking about having 10 batches. So this class, it will give me 10 batches of record. So the last, second last piece is that we have started to iterate through these batch collection. We are picking up a single batch, and then we are calling this method. If I go to the definition, yeah. So the first thing was we are initiating a bulk create request, and then we are assigning the values of some execute multiple for multiple settings related values. So continue on error. If we are saying that it's, if we are setting it to false, which means we are telling the platform that if there is any kind of an error we encounter, do not stop and continue processing the error. If we set it to false, it will stop processing, or it will stop processing. And the other piece is return responses, which means if there is any kind of a failure, you please return me the those error records. Well, one of the application in my mind comes in such scenarios, that if, say for example, we would like to create a log file which should contain all the error records, so that is something which we can think of as one possible application to have those error records. So we can always go and create a log file kind of a thing, which we can easily share or email it to the client for their corrective actions. So right. So after creating this bulk request, second thing which we are the next thing which that we are doing is that we are iterating through the batch which we pass from here. And that batch has, yeah, so that batch has all the source records, so 5 in this case, say for example. So we are looping through this batch. We are creating an object of an account entity account for an account entity. In this case, we are now then creating a single create request account, and then we are adding it to this collection, execute multiple requests. So if there are 5 requests, we are creating it one individual, one at a time, and then we are adding it to this collection. And once we have all everything in place, the next thing which we are doing is that we are executing this collection of requests via organization service proxy. So the batch, first thing first, read all the records, create batches, pass it to this form method. It will then start iterating through the source batch, creates a request, add it to the collection, and then run or create those records in a single go in the form of a transaction based on these settings. Right. So if I show you the source file, which hold on. So if let me just bring that source file also. Right. So this is the source file which I've created for the sake of demonstration. So this CSV file has 25 records. So account number and name is something which which I took into consideration. Just the two fields. So if I close it, and then if I run this utility debug, start debug. Let's run it in a debug mode just to show you. Right, so it is asking for an endpoint address, how, from where we can get it. So if I go to the tenant, so this is the demo environment or the demo tenant which I've created, set up. So what we have to do is that we have to go to the advanced settings, and then from advanced settings you go to settings, customizations. Take some time. Let's wait for some time. Just close it and open it again. Advanced settings. Okay. Then from here you go to customizations. From customization, there's options called developer resources. Go to developer resources, copy this endpoint. Copy this and paste it in here. I am providing my username and then the password. And I'm let's click on this browse button. It's asking me to choose the file. Select this demo file, which just now I showed you, and hit import button. Right. So after reading the file, it's we are over here. We are reading the source file, and we are pushing it into this list. So as we can see, the count is increasing, increasing, and increasing. So if I go all the way over here, we have now 25 records in our hand, and that's how it looks like. So these are all just a collection of plain and simple collection of 25 records. Once we have these 25 records, the next step is to set up the connection. So this is the CRM service client. Let's wait for a while. Okay. So if I go to the next step, CRM service client, okay, we do have an instance, and if I click on this, so it's false. It's ready is false. Okay. So it's not running, as you can see. So that's one of the preliminary check that you should always keep in mind. Now, if I go in here, okay, let me just run it again. I'm just running it again to see if that works. I provided a password and this one, that's okay. Let me just quickly come to this point. Run to cursor with F10. It should actually. Okay, here you go. So CI service client is ready, it's ready. The next step is to get the reference of organization service from the CRM service client. So here you go, you have the organization service client reference, the rest is all same. So the next step is that after reading the CSV file, pushing it into, and after creating a list, we are setting up a connection of Dataverse. We are now creating a batches of 5. So if everything goes well, this 25 list of 25 records should be split it into if batches of 5 into 5 batches. So if I go over here, as we can see, now we have 5 batches. If I expand it further, so excuse me. So this is batch number 1, and if I go further one level down, you see there are it contains those 5 records. If I go to batch number 2, again 5 records. So now we have 5 batches, and per each batch we have 5 records. So the next step is to loop through this batches collection, get the first batch, pass to this method. If I go to this method, here we are creating an instance of bulk create request. Now the next step is to loop through the sample account get data batch, create an instance of type entity, start populating the values, create an instance of create request, that is we are that's a single create request, right? And then add it to this collection, which will further be which is the final ultimate thing which will be passed, which we will process later over here, right? So after processing this batch, let's quickly run it. Okay, now the next thing is we are checking that is if this collection has the request count greater than 0, which is 5 in our case, then simply just go and run it. Now, if everything goes well, I can see on here, see, is faulted is false. So if our batch or execute multiple requests, if it's been processed successfully, you will receive this is faulted value as false. If it is true, in if in case if just in case if it is true, which means there is an error. And if there is an error, I can easily go and loop through and see what could loop through this responses collection to get the error records, right? So since we have processed the first batch, now we are processing the second one. Meanwhile, if I go to the tenant, which is this one, so 35 it is now. I should have cleaned it before. Let me just, okay. So if I minimize it again, with F5, again, if I go to the tenant, it's 40 now, 35, it is okay. And then if I say 30, okay, now what is the count? 40 it is. And then if I go over here, again, if I process this, done. So now if I go to the environment, if I click on refresh, so that's how it looks like. So 50 records we have now, although it's 25, but then yeah, I forgot to remove the previous record base. So yeah, that's how your record looks like. And that's how we can go and set up a preliminary, a very basic kind of a utility which we can easily go and enhance later on, if and when required. With that, I would like to that's pretty much it from my side in terms of demo and everything. And let me just rerun the PowerPoint again. Yep. uh, that's pretty much it from my side in terms of the demo, in terms of covering this session, and I'm opening the floor to answer your questions. Any questions? Anything else you would like to ask? Any questions?
I think not, Howard, but thank you for your
Hmm.
time and session. It was really
Okay.
helpful to understand that. I don't see for now any sessions, sorry, any questions.
Hmm.
But thanks for your time.